Good morning children. This is our grade 4 science video class. Today we are going to study about plants. Lesson 2, plants growing in different areas. Where? Different areas. Okay. So this is one of the interesting lesson in our book. Okay. So here in our first lesson, what we studied? We studied about plants, how they prepare their food, where they are storing the food. All those things we studied in our first lesson, isn't it? So in this lesson, we are going to study about different groups of plants. Okay? We can see plants almost everywhere in our world, isn't it? Almost everywhere in this world. Okay, we can see plants in mountains, we can see plants in oceans, we can see plants in land. Okay, almost in every area, even in desert also we can see some of the plants, isn't it? So, today's video class we are going to study about different groups of plants depending on the place where they grow. எந்த இடத்துல வளருதோ. So you can see all those plants have different features, different characters, அமைப்புகள். So some plants have different leaves. If you see the desert plants, their leaves are different. If you see the water plants, their leaves are different. So different features, அமைப்புகள், different features are there. See, plants growing in different areas. Plants growing in different areas. வேற இடத்துல வளருது have different features. Plants growing in different areas have different features. Okay. So depending upon the place where they grow, they have different features. Okay. So depending on the place where they grow, we can divide the plants into two main groups. எந்த பிளேஸ்ல வளருதோ depending அதை பொறுத்து depending on the place where they grow, we can divide the plants into two main groups. Okay, so if you take the world, we can see the two main areas in this world is land and water. See, so land plants and water plants, two main groups. We can divide the two main groups into furthermore subgroups, but two main groups of plants are what? Land plants and water plants. Okay. See, depending on the place where they grow, we can divide the plants into two main groups. One is land plants and another one is water plants. Land plants, water plants. Isn't it? So, another word we can use for land is terrestrial. So, these are the new words. When I am saying the words, you have to repeat after me. Okay, with the spelling. Terrestrial. T-E-R-R-E-S-T-R-I-A-L. Terrestrial plants. Okay, terrestrial means what? Land. Terrestrial plants. Okay, then water plants. Okay, another name for water is what? Aqua. A-Q-U-A, aqua. Okay, so aquatic, தண்ணியில் வளரும் plants. Okay, A-Q-U-A-T-I-C, aquatic. Terrestrial, T-E-R-R-E-S-T-R-I-A-L, terrestrial. Okay, terrestrial plants, aquatic plants. What are the two main groups of plants? Terrestrial plants, aquatic plants. Okay children, now we are going to see the details about terrestrial plants first. Then we will go for aquatic plants. Terrestrial plants. What? Terrestrial plants. What I said, what is meant by terrestrial plants? Plants growing on land. Plants growing on land. Plants growing on land are called as terrestrial plants. Okay. what are the areas we are finding on the land? So some areas, mountain regions are there, isn't it? Plants on mountains. And plain region, where we are living now, this plain region, samadalama irukka areas. Okay. So then desert regions. There is no water and all, no, in desert region. Only sand is there, desert sand is there. Then damp areas. Look at the pictures. Damp areas. Okay, ஈரமா இருக்க areas. Hot and damp regions. Then marshy areas. The clayey soil mixed with water. தண்ணியே நிக்கும் அந்த மாதிரி areas. Marshy areas. Okay. So, look at the pictures. Mountain areas, plain regions, desert regions, damp areas and marshy areas. So, these are the different areas we can see in this world, isn't it? So, all these plants we call it as terrestrial plants. Okay. See, one by one region. So, first we are going to see the plants which are in mountains. See, in mountains it receives rainfall, snowfall will be there. So, what are the three main things needed for the plants to grow well? Air, water, sunlight and nutrients and all needed, no? See, here if more rainfall is there, more snowfall is there, how can they come across those hot situation? How the plants grow well in mountains? So that condition we are going to see. Okay, how the plants are in mountains. Plants on mountain regions. See, look at these are mountain region plants. Look at the pictures. See, the plants are in cone-shaped plants. Abde cone madhirka? Cone. This shape we call it as cone shape, isn't it? Okay. See, look at the close view of the leaf. See, the leaves are very shiny, no? Waxy coated. Abde melugu coat panna madhirka, shiny leaves. Okay. Then and the leaves are very straight, long and needle-like leaves are there, isn't it? So why they look like cone shape? Because plants growing on mountain or in cold region, often in mountain region and cold region, in mountain region often rainfall will be there. In cold region, snowfall will be there. So, the plants have to survive in the heavy rainfall. It have to survive in heavy snowfall. Survive na valano. Need to valano. Isn't it? So that only the plants are in cone shape. Appa snowfall vanda enna agum? Easier. The snow will slip off very easily. அப்படியே slip ஆகி கீழே விழுந்துரும். Rainfall, the rainwater will be slip off very easily, go to ground very easily if the plants are in cone shape. தண்ணி அந்த மரத்திலே தங்காது, அப்படியே கீழே விழுந்துரும். So that only plants which are growing on mountains are in cone shape. Most of the plants are in cone shape. So that only we call those trees or conifers, because the shape of the tree is look like cone, C-O-N-E, cone. So those trees we can say it as conifers or coniferous. Conifers, C-O-N-I-F-E-R-S, conifers or coniferous, C-O-N-I-F-E-R-O-U-S, coniferous trees. Okay, so look at the plants' height. They are very tall plants, isn't it? Tall and straight plants. So heavy rainfall, they have to withstand the heavy rainfall. Heavy wind will come. And the mala காத்துல விழுந்துடக்கூடாது. So they have to withstand on heavy rainfall and heavy wind, so that only the plants are straight and tall. அப்படியே இப்படி வளைஞ்சு கொடுக்கும் heavy wind வந்ததுன்னா. Okay. Then look at the needle shaped leaves. The needle shaped leaves, waxy coated leaves. If snowfall will come, the snow will slip off very easily from the leaf. Leaf la ottadu, waxy coated. And the leaf la ottadu. Look at the picture. The leaf la ottama vilundrum. So, waxy coated, needle like leaves. And these plants, these coniferous plants, no flowers we can find on these coniferous plants. Instead of flowers, we can see cones. So these are, we call it as cones. Okay. So these cones only have seeds in it. Clear, children? So no flowers, they have cones. So what are the examples of trees? Pine, fir, cedar, spruce. Okay, like that we can see many trees in mountain region. Have you ever visited any mountain region like Ooty, Kodaikanal, Erkod, like that? Have you seen any trees like that? Cones. They don't have flowers, they have cones. Have you noticed? Needle-like leaves. Okay. Now we are going to see the plants which are in plains. See, plants growing in plains. Samadalama. So, நம்ம இப்ப இருக்கடலாம் plain இருக்க. So, these areas we called it as plains. Okay. So, plants growing in plains. How they look like? See, these plants have lots of branches. Many branches are there. See, look at those plants. They have many branches. They cover more space. They spread. The branches are spread. Isn't it? So they cover more space. Lots of branches and lots of leaves are there. So they cover more space. Then the leaves, look at the leaves, broad and flat. Okay, the leaves are broad and flat. Look at the leaves. The leaves shed in winter. So during the winter season, many trees shed their leaves. Shed na enadhu? Vilundrum. Keela vilundrum. Leaves vilundrum. For 1 month or 40 days, the trees are there without leaves. During winter time, they shed their leaves. These plants, plain region, many of the plants shed their leaves during winter season. Clear, children? So, because those trees shed their leaves during winter season, because of that particular feature, we call such kind of trees are deciduous trees. அது இலைய உதிர்க்கிறதுனால மட்டும் அதுக்கு என்ன பேரு? Deciduous trees. D-E-C-I-D-U-O-U-S. Deciduous. Deciduous trees. Okay. Why they are called as deciduous trees? Because they shed their leaves during winter season. That's why they called as deciduous trees. Clear? So, what are the example we can give for this kind of plain region plants? Mango, banyan, neem, peepal. Okay. Banyan tree. Neem tree. Mango tree. Peepal tree. Clear, children? So these are the examples of the trees which grow in plain region. Clear, children? So now we'll go for the next terrestrial plant. Plants growing in hot and damp region. Plants grow in hot and damp region. See, children, plants growing in hot and damp regions. Hot and damp regions. See, the region receives more rainfall even though the places are hot. Okay, hot and damp regions. So in such regions, the trees which grows there have many leaves. Okay, hot and damp region trees have many leaves and they do not shed their leaves. Previously in plains we seen the trees shed their leaves during winter season. Deciduous trees we said, no? So here they do not shed their leaves. Leaves edum keela vilave viladu. Okay, the trees which grows in hot and damp region, they do not shed their leaves. So they remain green throughout the year. Green ave irukum, varsham mulusum green ave irukum. They remain green throughout the year, so that they are called as evergreen trees. Why? Why we are calling those trees which are in hot and damp region are called as evergreen trees? Why we are saying those trees are evergreen trees? They do not shed their leaves. Therefore, they remain green throughout the year. So that only we are calling them as evergreen trees. Evergreen trees. Okay, what are such trees? What are the examples we can see? Coconut, cotton, rubber, sugar cane. So these are the trees we can say it as evergreen trees. Clear, children? Look at that region, hot and damp region. Okay. See here, this plant, coconut is growing well there. Isn't it? In Kerala and all we can see many coconut trees, no? So, why in Kerala side we can see many coconut trees? Because Kerala receives more rainfall and it is hot also, somewhat moderate climate. Okay, so the hot and damp areas. Okay, so rubber, cotton, coconut and sugar can grow well there. Clear, children? Now we are going to see plants growing in desert region. Plants growing in desert region. Desert na enadhu? Palaivanam. Onnume irukadu. Verum dry sand will be there. Isn't it? That region is called as desert region. Palaivanam. Okay. So, plants need water to grow. Plants need water to grow. Then how these plants will grow? In desert region there is that means less rainfall. Water is there very less. Scanty. Scanty na rombave kammi na. Scanty or less rainfall. So how the plants will grow in the desert region? See, shortage of water. Thanni patrakura irukum. Shortage of water will be there. Scanty or no rainfall. Sometimes years together no rainfall irukadu. So, to overcome the situation, the stem, leaf and root structure should be there, isn't it? The plant should be there. So, what is the modification? See, the leaves. The leaves. Here the leaves are broad leaves we have in plain region, no? But the desert plant don't have the leaves in broad nature, okay? The leaves are spines. Spines na mullu maadhi irukum. Okay, the spines to reduce loss of water, to reduce loss of water. Loss nanadu. தண்ணி வீணா போகிறத தடுக்கிறதுக்காக. The leaves modified into spines. Leaf முள்ளா மாறிடுச்சு. Modified அப்படின்னா change ஆயிடுச்சு. The leaves are modified into spines in order to reduce loss of water. இவ்வளோ பெருசு லீஃப் இருந்ததுன்னா if in desert hot sun will be there, no, என்ன ஆகும்? The leaf dry very quickly. காஞ்சி போயிடும் இல்லையா? So in order to reduce loss of water, the leaf turned into spines. முள்ளா மாறிடுச்சு. And so grazing animals, அங்கேயும் சில animals இருக்கும் இல்லையா? In desert region also some animals will be there. So that animals may eat these plants. ஆனா if the leaves turn into spines, முள்ளா மாறிடுச்சுன்னா அந்த முள்ளை சாப்பிட முடியாத அனிமலால. So products from grazing animals. So leaves modified into spines in order to reduce loss of water and protects from grazing animals. Animals ittum சாப்பிட முடியாது, தண்ணியும் வீணாகாது. So that only the leaves are modified into spines. Leaf mulla மாறிடுச்சு. Then look at what is the features of stem in desert plants. The stem is green and fleshy stem. Green and fleshy stem. Because the stem is having chlorophyll in it. We know it already why the plants are looking green in color, because of the presence of chlorophyll in leaves. But here in desert plants, chlorophyll is present in stem. That's why the chlorophyll looks green. That's why the stem looks green and fleshy. Clear, children? So it prepares food. Wherever the chlorophyll is present, it prepares food, isn't it? So the stem only prepares food. Instead of leaves, stem only here prepares food in desert plants. Okay? And it stores food and water. It stores food and water. Food prepare pannu and it stores also. Food you store panikku, water you store panikku. Clear? It stores food and water. Which part of the plant? Stem part of the plant stores food and water. In which region? In desert region plants, stem only stores food and water. And stem only prepares food. Because stem only have chlorophyll. What happens to the leaves of the desert plants? The leaf turned into spines. Why the leaves turned into spines? Why the leaves modified into spines? Because to reduce loss of water. If the leaves are big, hot sun nala enna idum kaanji poidum. So in order to reduce loss of water, leaves turned into spines. Spines na enadhu mulla. And another one reason also, it protects from grazing animals. Any animal la சாப்பிட முடியாம காப்பாத்துது. It protects from grazing animals. மேஞ்சிரும் இல்லையா animals அங்க ஏதோ இருந்ததுன்னா. So it protects from grazing animals. So that only the leaves turned into spines. Then what about roots of the desert plants? It grow deep underground. Why the roots go deep into the ground? To absorb water. Very less rainfalls, isn't it? So to absorb water, roots go deep under the ground. And widespread root, wide nalla virinju, widespread root grow deep under the ground to absorb water quickly. Okay, to absorb water quickly, the roots are widespread and grow deep under the ground. So these are the modifications we can see. Modification and the matrangal. These are the modifications we can see in the desert plants. Look at the example, cactus. See, this plant we call it as cactus. Look at the plant. See, the stem is green and fleshy. The spines are what? Leaves. The spines are what? Leaves. And this is prickly pear. What is that prickly pear? Chapati kallin solluvaanga inga. Okay, chapati kalli, prickly pear. See, look at that broad, fleshy green stem. Okay, the spines over there is what? Leaves. Are you clear, children? Palm nanadu, panamaram. So these are the best examples of desert plants. So in desert plants, there is shortage of water. In order to overcome the situation, there are modification in leaf, stem and root structure. Clear, children? Next, we are going to see about plants growing in marshy areas. Marshy. Plants growing in marshy areas. What is meant by the word marshy? M-A-R-S-H-Y. Marshy means swampy. Swampy. தண்ணி ஈரப்பதம் அப்படியே இருக்கும். தண்ணியே நிக்கும் அந்த ஏரியால. Okay, that is marshy areas. So here, because stagnant water, தண்ணி அப்படியே தேங்கி நிக்கிறதுனால, the soil, clayey soil, it turn into sticky in nature. அப்படியே பசன்னு பிடிக்கிற மாதிரி sticky soil. Okay, so these plants which are grows in these swampy areas, marshy regions, are called as mangroves. The plants which grows in swampy regions are called as mangroves. Look at the picture. This is what we call mangroves. Clear, children? Here, the soil is covered with water. Look there, the soil is covered with water. Okay, if the soil is covered with water like this, how can the roots breathe? So not only the leaves take in air, the roots also takes some amount of air. So how can the roots breathe? So if the soil is covered with water, the roots do not get air to breathe. The soil is covered with water, roots do not get air to breathe. Kadekadu. Then what the roots will do? The roots come out as breathing root. The roots usually grow deep to the ground, no? So here in mangroves plants, the roots come out to breathe. காத்துக்காக அப்படி வெளியிலேயும் வந்துரும். So those roots which come out, no, those roots we called as breathing roots. Those roots which come out, no, that root we call it as breathing roots. See, another word we can use for instead of breathing roots, new terminology. Nematophores. Nematophores. See, the letter first P letter is silent letter. Okay, silent letter. Nematophores. Look at the spelling. P-N-E-U-M-A-T-O. Nematophores. P-H-O-R-E-S. Nematophores. Okay. What is that? Breathing roots. Clear? See, look at the picture. This is what we called as breathing roots. Okay. Okay, near Chidambaram we can find this mangrove forest. Here in Tamil Nadu near Chidambaram we can find the mangrove forest. If you have any time after this lockdown, go and visit such places. Clear, children? Now, so far we seen about the terrestrial plants. Now we are going to see about aquatic plants. Aquatic plants means what? Look at the picture. Plants growing in water. What is meant by aquatic plants? Plants growing in where? Water. So plants growing in water are called aquatic plants. Okay. See, in aquatic plants we can see three different kinds of plants. See, some plants are floating. Some plants are floating on water. Some plants are fixed in the soil, but it is in water. And some plants are submerged underground. தண்ணியில மூழ்கி இருக்கும். சிலது floating plants மிதந்துட்டு இருக்கு, சிலது fix ஆயிருக்கு, சிலது மூழ்கி இருக்கு, submerged. Okay, floating மிதந்துட்டு இருக்கு. Submerged or underwater plants மூழ்கி இருக்கு, தண்ணியில மூழ்கி இருக்கு சில plants. So about aquatic plants we will see in our next video class. Along with this video class, I given the PDF format of book exercise answers and worksheet. In the worksheet, answer key will be there. You copy the answers without any spelling mistake. Okay children, take care of your health. Eat well, sleep well and do your work well. Thank you. Thank you children.